Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday, November the 25th, 2020. It is currently 5:21 p.m. Central Time, and this is live broadcast number 4 this Wednesday. The first three, I've spent a lot of time over the last week. If you listen to my last the live broadcast that we did on The Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. What did we call that one? Let me look at it. Let me look at the name of it. Let me look at it, and I'll tell you when it occurred. Give me 1 second to look this up. I didn't even think about this till right now. It was called Resist Temptations Part 2 on November the 22nd, 2020. Resist Temptations, Part 2, November the 22nd, 2020. That was the last live broadcast that I did in regards to The Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. And if you listen to that one, you'll realize that I have major issues with two words. For some reason, I was thinking the words were one way because I have two different translations of the book, and I was reading the older translation, and they were using a kind of an old English word, and it messed me completely up. I think I said it right. Then I looked up the definition, and I saw the definition, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I read the word right, but I don't think I've been reading the word right because I think it's a different word, and so I got all messed up. It was embarrassing. It was horrible. It was bad. And ever since then, I've been really haunted. I've been haunted just by going back and re-listening to things and going, man, I messed up there. I should have did that better. Should have did that better. Should have did that better. And it's really been frustrating. So I've been here, now for I don't know how many hours, at least 3 hours, 4 hours, however many hours I've been here. And after every broadcast, I'll be like, well, I did this, and then I said that. And the last live broadcast that I did, I misread a word in Psalm 73. I completely read it incorrectly, and then I corrected it, I think, and I finally got it right. But that just bothers me so much. It bothers me. It afflicts me. I have an affliction, and the affliction is I want to be perfect. I do. I want to be I want to be able to turn on the microphone and just be perfect. And I know that that's asking a lot, considering that I do my broadcast live, right? I mean, there's no editing, right? If I just recorded this, then I could say, I messed up, start over. I messed up, start over. Or some people will go edit, where they cut little parts out. If you've ever watched a YouTube video, you'll see that they do like 9,000 edits, and you can see the little jerk in the video where they're those little jumps, and that's where they've cut and edited it back together. I don't do that. I turn on the microphone, I'm live. There's no safety net for me. And sometimes I fall on my face and I break an arm, okay? Using an illustration, and not in a literal way. And sometimes I think I'm like, I did pretty good. I didn't need the safety net. I stayed on. I stayed up here, and everything was fine. And you just have to kind of live with it. I always hope that it still benefits people. So yeah, I've been here. I'm not happy with all of them, but they're there. They're there. They're on the internet, and there's nothing I can do about it. But it's time to move away from all of the things I've already done, and let's talk about affliction. Let's talk about being afflicted, and we're going to do so in an interesting way. Now, this is really going to serve more as a Bible study guide. The last one that was kind of supposed to be a Bible study guide kind of really resulted in me kind of doing more of the Bible study for you. This one is going to really be the true Bible study guide, but I can't call this a Bible study guide because this one is a part of our ongoing series as we're looking at the 10 Commandments of James chapter 4. In James chapter 4, we have 10 imperatives, and we're really studying these imperatives, but I'm going to present this one as a Bible study guide because I'm going to present the question to you, and then you're going to have to try to come up with the answer, and then we'll come back to it and try to provide an answer to it. It's going to be interesting to see how many people participate and what people find, but I really hope people will look into this, all right? Are you ready? And this idea of affliction is going to make perfect sense here in a minute. So let's go back to James chapter 4 if you're not there. I mean, when you start a podcast saying the 10 Commandments of James 4, you pretty much know where we're going to be. But if you haven't opened the Bible, and if you can, turn to James chapter 4, and let's go through these. James chapter 4, start in verse 7. The first commandment, submit yourselves therefore to God. Submit yourself to God. Arrange everything under God's authority. That's what it means to submit, to arrange everything under God's authority. Submit. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Resist the devil. Now, we had a long discussion about what that meant and some very applicable things to the world in which we live, but we won't go back and review all of that. So submit, resist, draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Now, purify your hearts, ye double-minded. I thought that was a very interesting study because I think we kind of figured out that purify has to deal with the being double-minded there, and I think we did a really good job. So we went through all of those, all interesting, all, I think, very beneficial. Now we come to one that I think should cause any good Bible student to stop and go, what? Okay, I got the other ones. Okay, submit, resist, draw nigh, cleanse, purify. Got that purify one needed a little bit of work, but I think we got that because that double-minded part is critical to understanding to purify your heart. Okay, I got that. But this next one, I don't, what do we do with this one? Look at the next one. Are you ready? Here's the next. Be afflicted. Be afflicted. What? Be afflicted. All right, how do I follow this command? Now, I just talked about being afflicted. I am afflicted with this desire to be perfect. So that can't, like, is that the affliction? Like, be afflicted by wanting to be, no, that doesn't seem to work. I'm afflicted with a lot of things, right? I have a certain, you could think about, I have an affliction of speech. I am afflicted when it comes to my health as far as neurological issues and seizure disorder, all caused by what happened to me. I was in the military. So be afflicted. Okay, that's an affliction, but that's something that happened to me. What does it mean by be? Like, it's almost spoken of as an imperative, as a command. You be afflicted. So, like, what do I do? Like, right now I'm sitting here at Victory Baptist Church, and this Wednesday evening, there's a highway out there. Cars are flying by here doing about 75, 80, 85 miles per hour. Maybe I just run out there and get hit by a car. Boom! Hey, and people are like, what did you do? What happened? Well, we were studying James chapter 4, told me to be afflicted, and that was the easiest way to get afflicted. I just ran out there and got hit by a car. You could have died. Well, I know that's the danger of trying to be afflicted. I mean, how do you measure how much affliction you're going to get? That was the first thing I could come up with. Oh, there's some crazy big dogs around here. Maybe I could go, make one of the dogs mad and they could chase me and start trying to rip off my leg. Hey, I'm being afflicted. It's like, what does it mean to be afflicted? Do I go seek out affliction? Is that what I do? Like, do I grab a piece of metal and shove it in the electrical outlet here and shock myself? Will that work? I mean, like, what does it mean? Be afflicted. That's telling me, like, to search out some kind of affliction. Look, what does that mean? Well, let's just look up be afflicted. Let's just look it up, the Greek word here, just to see if it gives us any clues. All right. Let's just to see if it gives us any clues. So I'm going to go to the Blue Letter Bible app. And see, I want you to know how being afflicted, I am afflicted because, see, now I'm mad that I messed up there and kind of stuttered over my words. See, it's crazy. All right, here we go. Be afflicted. All right, what does that mean? Here is the Greek word. Oh, okay, maybe we have an idea here. Let's see what it means here. Here's the Greek word.
Strong's G 5003. Teleporeo. Teleporeo.
Teleporeo. Now, I know I'm not saying it the way he does, but teleporeo. Now, teleporeo, it is used, a whole total of one time. Okay, it's used one time. So this is it that we're going to draw. We have to derive its meaning from this usage. Teleporeo, it means, here's how to toil heavily, to endure labors and hardships, to be afflicted, to feel afflicted, and miserable, to afflict. So this is how the Strong's definition: to be wretched, realize one's own misery, be afflicted. Now, this is an imperative. Be afflicted. This is a commandment. Be afflicted. Toil, labor, feel miserable. What does this mean? What do you think this means? What is James telling us to do here? This is an imperative for you and I to be afflicted. Toil, hardship, misery, miserable, what do you think it is? So this is my challenge to you, all right? I want you to try to find 5 verses that you think helps clarify what James is calling us to do. James is calling us to be afflicted. Now, we could go with the meaning of, we could go through these definitions and probably outline a possible kind of solution, but I want you to see if you can find at least 5 verses in your Bible that would kind of give you an idea of what does it mean to be afflicted? Like, what is he calling you to do? Be afflicted. In fact, if you look at the next commandments, they go right along with this affliction, because if you look at it, James chapter 4, be afflicted, and then look what he says: mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. All the next commandments flow from this being afflicted. Be afflicted, and you're going to be afflicted to the point that you're going to mourn, you're going to weep, your laughter is going to be turned to mourning, and your joy is going to be turned to heaviness. So this affliction is a serious affliction, serious. And it's going to cause you, you're going to feel it, you're going to know it. Now, it just seems odd, hey, all right, so what do I need to do? Well, here's one of the things you need. You need to submit to God. Got it. You need to resist the devil. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, you need to draw near to God. Well, okay, that makes sense. You need to cleanse your hands and purify your hearts. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, and yeah, you need to be afflicted. What? So here's the thing that's bizarre. Be afflicted is like something I do. So we usually think of an affliction of something that happens to us, right? Like my affliction, my health affliction, my neurological issues, and my seizures. That was inflicted upon me. I was afflicted by it. I didn't have a choice. I had to do what I had to do, and then I suffered the affliction from it, and that will last the rest of my life. So I am afflicted, but this is telling me be afflicted. Do I go search out an affliction like I gave that, over the top illustration? Do I go run out into the highway, stick a piece of metal into the electric outlet? Look, or is there a specific way in which I am to be afflicted? Is there a specific way? Is there something specifically I need to do to feel afflicted, to feel miserable? Now, the idea of toil or labor, okay, I could go toil and labor. So I go work until I feel afflicted. Okay, maybe I could figure out an idea there. I have an idea of where we should go with this. I really do. I think there may be a very profound spiritual point here, but I don't want to teach it tonight. I want to present it as a problem. So here's what I want you to do: 5 cross references. Now, you got to make sure. Now, when these cross references are going to be hard, because I don't think you're going to find cross references that are going to be referencing James. In other words, you're going to have to find other verses that may not necessarily be connected to James 4. They may not be referencing James 4. So you're not going to have one of those very kind of what I call pure cross reference. Like it's an easy cross reference when you're reading in Matthew, and it says it is written, and then you know that that he's quoting from Deuteronomy or Isaiah. That's a pure, clear. That's like what's called a pure cross reference, a direct cross reference. It's they're quoting from something. Now, this is where you have to look for a cross-reference where it's not clearly referencing it. It's not clearly mentioning it. It's not even, hinting at it. But you got to find things that you think, okay, this may apply. This may clarify this, because all we're left with is just an imperative. Be afflicted. Okay. Now, we could do the easy way out and try to look up commentaries and look at what everyone else tells us. But I don't want you to look at a commentary. I want you to just start, be afflicted, be afflicted, be afflicted, be afflicted, be afflicted. Now, if we do this, this is interesting. So be afflicted. Let me go do a search. I'm going to do a search for afflicted. Okay, if I'm going to do for the whole Bible. Okay. It's used, I don't have a total number here. Let me look here. Okay, well, it's used a lot. If you just do afflicted for the whole Bible, you're going to find a lot here. There's one, let me see here if I'm right. Okay, I'm looking here. There's a kind of an interesting reference in Isaiah here that I'm looking at that I think I could possibly do something with. Yeah, you just look. So if you do a search for afflicted, I don't know the total number here. It doesn't give me the number. But there it is. 54 times. So the word afflicted is used 54 times in the King James. So you're going to have 54 references. Out of those 54, find the 5 best that you think may offer some insight into how we are to follow this commandment to be afflicted. All right, 54 references. Now, if you may have to look for something that doesn't use the word afflicted, but you think if you can think of something that may not use the word afflicted, then by all means use it. Like if you think it offers some kind of insight. I mean, we got, what does it mean to be afflicted? Now we got the word is used 54 times. Hang on, give me 1 second. I'm going to do a search here for something. I may give everyone a reference to look up. Let me do something here. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to do. Give me 1 second. Oh, I think it's an eyes. Okay. No, that doesn't help. Oh, no. Yeah, that does not help. That's a good verse, but it doesn't help us for what we're looking for. What does it mean to be afflicted? All right. I got an idea in my head, and I just don't know. I got this idea bouncing around my head that I think there's a verse that says something like it. I don't want to give it away. Because first I have to find the verse. So I don't want to say it because I don't know for sure if the verse is there. If the verse says it the way I'm thinking it says it. So I don't want to say, I just got to figure out where the verse is. But when I first saw this is the first thing that came to my mind. And now I'm not so sure, is it really there? But it's going to be a good exercise. So here's what you do. Be afflicted. The word afflicted is used in the King James 54 times, I think is what we said. Look up the 54 times and see if you can find 5 of those references and you're like, that makes sense. If I put these 5 together, now you may not be able to find 5 good ones, but at least try to find 5. Do your best to find 5. You may end up only with 2, all right? But do your best to find 5. Try to find 5, but try to, at the end of the day, if you only find 1 or 2 and you think this really clarifies this and gives me some kind of specific direction in how I am to be afflicted, then I think we've all benefited because we got to figure this out. I mean, this is not something we talk about. Hey, as a Christian, be afflicted. What do you mean? Well, go be afflicted. Okay, well, what do I got to do to be afflicted? Well, you're going to be afflicted. I know this. It's got to be so severe that you're going to mourn, you're going to weep. Your laughter is going to be turned to sorrow. That's what wow. So it's going to be some pretty severe affliction. Yeah, it's going to be some severe affliction that it greatly impacts you. And how does that work? Are you saying as a Christian I can never be happy? Well, the Bible also speaks of joy. So this can't be that I have to be in a perpetual state of affliction, right? There's got to be something specific James has in mind here. There's got to be something specific in mind. Be afflicted. And it's got to be like a specific thing. Again, the verse itself doesn't help. Be afflicted, mourn, weep, let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. And then you have verse 10. So it doesn't offer an explanation. Now, is there anything else in the book of James that you think clarifies it? So here's the thing. I'll just end it with this. 54 verses mentions the word afflicted. Now, we could look up maybe variations, afflictions, see if you can find some more. Try to find 5 verses that you think help clarify James 4 or gives you direction. But do not restrict yourself to just looking up verses that use the word afflict or affliction. If you need to look up mourning, right? If you need to look up weeping, any of the other words used in James 4, and look, if you can find verses that don't even use the words that are contained in James 4, but you think there's something in that those verses contain an idea that you can put with James 4 to offer with James 4 verse. Hang on, make sure I give you the right verse. With James 4 verse, what verse is it? James 4 verse 9. James 4:9. James chapter 4 verse 9. Make sure now. I'm afraid I looked at it incorrectly. I'm almost positive. Yeah, James 4:9. Be afflicted. Any verse you can find that you think clarifies it, use it, okay? But I'm giving you the starting point that the word afflicted is used 54 times in the King James. That gives you 54 passages to look through. You can skim them quickly, use the Blue Letter Bible app, but I don't care. I just want you to look. This is just gives you the freedom to start looking anywhere and everywhere, but to figure it out. But I don't want you to rely on commentaries. And if you have a study Bible, do not touch that study Bible. I mean, slap your hands, okay? If you get ready to touch that study Bible, have someone slap you across the face, all right? They have my permission, all right, to do that, to beat you, all right? Why? Because I don't want you cheating, right? Bible study is not you going to look at what someone else studied. It's for you to study. So be afflicted. You got to figure out what that means. That's your challenge. I've given you the place to start. The word afflicted 54 times in the Bible. Start looking up every reference and see if any of them helps. Try to come up with 5 references that help. Once you've exhausted looking up afflicted, look up affliction, whatever you need to look up, see if that offers any help. If you've exhausted that, you still don't have anything, then just start coming up with any other verse that you think explains what James is really asking us to do. Because he can't be saying, be afflicted all the time, because then we would never have joy, but yet we talk about the joy that comes that we have as Christians. So this has got to be an affliction that we need to experience, but it can't be a continual thing. Or is there a continual aspect to it, right? Like, I don't know. You answer those questions. So there you have it. I really thought I had a different idea, but I looked up a passage in Isaiah that I really thought was going to answer it, and it didn't. It didn't read the way I thought it read. So I'm still formulating an idea. When I started, I had a clear idea in my mind of what the answer was. Now I'm a little nervous that maybe I'm wrong. So I'm going to have to work it out and flesh it out. Please, though, talk to me, email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. newsif@yahoo.com. I would love to get what you find here, what you discover, all right? Members of Victory Baptist Church, hey, you go to the chat channel, start chatting away. Let me know what you find. All right, I'm going to stop right there. And everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I probably will not be here tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to come back here Thursday. Maybe Thursday night. I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to enjoy Thursday And then I'll be back here Friday with a lot of live broadcasting for the weekend. All right. So if it's something you want me to talk about, always let me know. newsif@yahoo.com. Everyone have a great day. God bless.